Y'all are probably going to get one of your biggest laughs today from this video if you haven't gotten a big laugh already. So this is dealing with Al Sharpton in 46. And something that we over here have been trying to tell these Negroes for the last year and some change about 46. That he ain't about to do a goddamn thing for you. And the thing is like, think of the movie Jaws. You know, in the movie Jaws, you would hear the music and then the shark would appear. But it's like no one in the movie heard the music. I know it's kind of like, like why would you say that? Because in the movie, they can't hear it. That's in post-production. But y'all get what I mean. I'm just hypothetically speaking. They heard the music, but they decided to still stay in the water and not try to move. This is kind of how it is with Al Sharpton and a lot of these sick Negroes out here when it comes to 46. So I'm about to read this article, and the title reads, Al Sharpton to Biden, black community is being stabbed in the back. No, y'all are being stabbed in the back because I didn't vote for this guy. I already knew what was up with him from day one. Y'all got to keep in mind, this is the same guy right here who helped draft the 1994 crime bill. And a gang of other things that was a huge hindrance to black people at large. Al Sharpton, as long as you've been around in the sphere, you mean to tell me none of that, like, went off bells and whistles and alarms didn't go off in your head that this guy could not be trusted with black people? Oh, no, because all they could think about, we got to get 45 out of office. That's all they thought about. Just like with 45 supporters back in 2016, they claimed not to know what Make America Great Again was, but they knew exactly what it meant. But all they could think about was getting 45 in the office. They couldn't say we got to get Obama out because Obama couldn't run a third term, so he was going to get out by default. And, take our country back, immigration, and a bunch of other things. So the Biden supporters of last year to get him in are almost exactly the same as the 45 supporters of 2016. They are now having voters' remorse. The black ones anyway, as far as Joe Biden, I can't speak for any other community. I'm not in that community. I can only speak for ours. Now you're seeing exactly the fruits of your labor are now rotten. And your labor has been broken down and tarnished. That's what you get. And it's crazy. It didn't even take a whole year to figure this out. He hasn't been in a whole year. He won't be in a whole year until January of 2022. Elected a whole year in November. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I have a feeling this is going to be hilarious. Reverend Al Sharpton hit the stage Saturday during a voting rights rally to tell President Biden that supporters of the filibuster are stabbing the black community in the back. President Biden met with some of the civil rights leadership, and we reminded him, you said the night you won that black America had your back and that you were going to have black America's back. If y'all don't remember that was that, I think it was like some kind of virtual Zoom meeting where they had a bunch of black people. I don't even want to call them leaders. I'm just saying a bunch of black people that they had talking a bunch of crap or whatever. And then you had Joe Biden there, and he basically told them about themselves to their face. And not one of them had the balls to check him. Remember, this is the same guy that said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. If that wasn't an insult, I don't know what was. Like, how did people miss that? I wasn't going to vote for him anyway, but goddamn, if I was going to vote for him, that right there would have made me say, hold on. Wait a minute. This guy is not what he has propped himself up to be. That was a direct slap in the face, and y'all still went out and voted for his ass anyway. So no, I don't feel bad. The only thing that makes me mad is the fact that now those of us who've been saying this for the last year, are now entrapped into this ball of chaos. Mr. President, they're stabbing us in the back. In 49 states, they've got their knives out stabbing us in the back. The civil rights activists called on Congress to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, which I highly doubt they're going to do. Just like I know they're not going to do the George Floyd bill, because that's been sitting there not doing that. But they will pass that AAPI one. And they did do that. And the Asian community didn't have to beg to do it. They just did it. In a move that he believes will counter state voting reform laws. Are black people who vote Democrat finally realizing that this was all a sham? Or are they going to have their pride and ego get in the way and pretty much allow themselves to continue to be conned by this? Now, don't get me wrong. This is not me coming on here making a debate in the defense of the Republicans, because you know I got smoke for their ass too. But today we talking about them Democrats and the fools who continue to go along to get along with them. It's like it's written right out in front of your face, not even in the small print. It's right there. It's pictures. It's big ass letters, whatever you want to call it. It sounds. And you still ignore it. You ignore it. You claim we don't know what we're talking about. You should have seen y'all, I'm sure y'all did, all the stuff that they said about the black people last year, trying to tell us about ourselves and how we were wrong. You know how they talk bad about Ice Cube and all kinds of shit. And now you're realizing you were wrong. This is your fault. And it's also your burden. Don't reach back to us now asking for help. It's too late. He got 4 years. Y'all are stuck with his ass until 2024. Or unless something happens to him. And then it don't get no better, because look at who's going to come right behind him. She's no better. Y'all put 2 people in office that has a disdain for black people. Especially black Americans, even broken further down, black men. Republicans have argued that increased regulations around voting secure elections, while Democrats and activists believe that recent state-based legislation targets black and brown communities. And that's another thing. Stop this whole black and brown communities crap. Why can't it be just something that's just focused on us? This is exactly what I was talking about on Twitter about black people not being the gatekeepers of anything. Because you have to say black and insert a community there. Why can't it just be black, period? The John Lewis Voting Rights Act, because here's the thing about that black and brown. The black and brown quote unquote coalition is more like brown and white, because they'll link up with them a lot faster than they do with us, because they see a benefit by linking up with them. They don't see a benefit linking up with us. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act passed in the House 219 to 212 earlier this week, but its chances of surviving Senate filibuster appear slim. You need to pick up the phone and call Manchin and others and tell them if they can carve around the filibuster to confirm Supreme Court judges for President Trump, they can carve around the filibuster to bring voter rights to President Biden, Sharpton said. Al Sharpton, they don't have to do anything you say. Who are you? They already don't like you anyway. Truth be told, a lot of black people don't like Al Sharpton either. I remember when I was in college, it was a girl I went to school with. Ironically, the same girl who I went to school with who says that she doesn't like Oprah, the Mammy Supreme Whip, was the same one that didn't like Al Sharpton. She gave him a nickname, and it was Al Sharp Tongue. Sharpton, along with other voting rights activists, has repeatedly called on Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. And why would you call on him? That fool don't know if he wants to be a conservative one day and a Democrat the next. So I guess today he is a Democrat, because that Joe Manchin be flip-flopping like it's nothing. That man flips more than a pair of pancakes on the grill. To support weakening or abolishing the filibuster, but Manchin has flatly rejected the calls to do so. Then why do you keep calling him? Now you sound stalkerish. I have said it before and I will say it again. Remove any shred of doubt. There is no circumstance in which I will vote to eliminate or weaken the filibuster, Manchin said in an op-ed in April. The West Virginia Democrat today, Republican tomorrow, and I inserted that in, has argued that he cannot justify to his constituents a valid reason to weaken a measure that requires the Senate have at least a 60 to 40 vote in order to pass a bill. They're not going to make a move for you, Al Sharpton, or any other black person out there that's listening. They're not going to move for you. Who are you? Al Sharpton, you just have a name and a big mouth. So does a lot of other people. But then again, like I said, who are you? Yeah, I'm not going to say he doesn't have influence, because he definitely does. But again, Al Sharpton, who are you? But like I said, this is what y'all voted for. Y'all will hold this L for the rest of your life. Meanwhile, we finding out that they have been sending $300 million a day to Afghanistan for the last 20 years. That total up to over $2 trillion since 2001. They want to open the borders to let Afghan refugees come in after what they did to them. Isn't that funny? They go over and invade their nation, and now they want to open up the borders to let them in over here. Amazing, isn't it? Again, further putting black people on the back burner. To the Biden supporters, y'all did that. Oh yes, y'all did that. Y'all helped bring that in. The second that you marked Biden Harris on the ballot and clicked submit back in November of last year, it has opened the floodgates to all of this. Congratulations, you have played thine self. And like I said before, we aren't even a whole year into this thing. We still got 3 more years to go. Have fun with that. See, I can talk about this because I didn't vote. I'm be honest, I did not vote for this guy. Because I knew what was coming. Some I didn't see coming, but it's in the ballpark, it's in the same spectrum of what I saw coming. But y'all got to deal with this. And I bet you, like I said, he's not going to make a move. He's not going to make a move. If anything, 46 is more conservative than he is liberal. Many won't tell you that, but I will. He has a lot of conservative views. Anybody can mark down that they're a Democrat. Doesn't mean that they are. Look at 45. He used to be a liberal, but he ran as a Republican. Because he knew he would get the support if he ran as a Republican rather than as a Democrat. That was actually smart on his part. That's how he slithered his way in. And many of his supporters knew that, but they ran with it anyway because the guy was a slick talking businessman who liked to fire people. They were entertained. They were entertained from 2016 to 2020. They missed that. That's why they want him back in office so bad, even though we know that's not going to happen. That's a failed pipe dream. Just like a lot of black people thinking Biden going to do something specifically for them is a failed pipe dream. And he told you what he was going to do for these other groups. And guess what? He stuck to his word, and he's doing for those other groups as we speak. And those other groups did not include black people. So as far as I'm concerned, Joe Biden is very honest. He didn't lie when he said he was going to do for this group and that group and that group. Because he didn't say he was going to do anything specifically for black people. And he's sticking close to his word. But people like Al Sharpton and all these other buffoons out here who thought otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. You got played. Or like I said before, you played yourself. Many of you already knew what was going on, but you decided to still go against the grain anyway, thinking something was going to change. And here we are. Here we are, getting ready to head into the fourth quarter, and ain't shit changed. And it probably won't. Got all these bills that you want to pass specifically, well, seemingly for black people, and we are still stuck at peg 1. Not even close to peg 2. But that's your fault. I cannot lay and take blame in this. It is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.